Hi, I'm Dr. Catherine Kelly, and this is Super Bowl Sunday. So, like many of you, I'm going to be sitting down in just 2.5, 3 hours, about probably 3 hours, to sit down to watch the Super Bowl. And I wanted to take a minute today to talk about how I see that things like the Super Bowl are also related to the soul. Now, a lot of people are probably thinking, how in the world can you connect those two? And I'm sure that there are lots of people who are sitting down to watch the Super Bowl today who haven't even thought of their soul as part of what is going to be happening for them today. But I want to make some connections for you because I do think that things like the Super Bowl can be very soulful, in meaning that they can be very restorative and very fun. So let me connect some dots for you. So years ago, I was working for a women's college. I worked for their counseling center as part of my practicum for my doctoral program. And I was going out and doing stress management workshops, and I looked up this study that really I've used a lot to describe how important it is for us to have fun and create that recreational health part of us. And so the study showed that kids between the age of 5 and 7 laughed an average of about 500 times a day, whereas adults at the time laughed less than 10. Now, to me, that is going way in the wrong direction as far as our evolution. We really, as adults, need to be laughing more for restorative reasons, for community reasons, to basically connect us. But the older we get, the less and less we laugh. Now, when I was writing my book, Soul Health, Aligning with Spirit for Radiant Living, a few years ago, I was curious to see if they had redone that research, and sure enough, they had. But unfortunately, the stats showed that we were, again, moving in the wrong direction because kids then, between the ages of 5 and 7, tended to laugh about 200 to 300 times a day. So we have gone down significantly from 15, 20 years ago. And adults laughed less than 5 times a day. So, again, that is way too little, too few of a time for us to laugh during the day for us to really restore and feed our souls. And so I want to draw some connections to the Super Bowl with how the soul is involved in all of that. And so if you think about fun for the sake of having fun, that you burst out in laughter just for the sake of having fun, you go do something very playful and spontaneous and whimsical and goofy, there's a whole different kind of fun that we have, which means there's a whole different kind of restorative nature we get from that versus when we're doing something for the sake of competition. Because just like those studies showed, the older we get, we are basically laughing less and less and less. And really one of the conclusions of those studies was that the older we get, the more competitive we get. So we actually lose out on a lot of that restorative fun because we're becoming more competitive rather than having fun for the sake of fun. Now, I'm not at all saying that there aren't fun parts of the Super Bowl. The food, the laughter, the camaraderie, the healthy jiving back and forth and giving each other a hard time. But I also do think that really when it turns to more of a competitive kind of fun, that our recreational health really suffers a little bit. We don't get that full restoration that we would if we were having fun for the sake of fun. So just want you to really kind of think about that. And I thought about that when I was on my walk with my dogs this morning, because on one side of the road, there were lots of Panthers flags, basically flying on people's porches. And I glanced over across the street at one point, and there was a Denver Broncos flag. And I couldn't help but think, gosh, I wonder how that guy feels. He's the only one that's in the neighborhood that has a Broncos flag out there versus probably 6 or 7 Panthers flags that were on the other side of the road. And what I hope for is that those neighbors are able to go, hey, how was that game yesterday? And that competition between them is more of a playful, joyful kind of fun rather than, putting someone across the street because basically they don't belong in their cheering group. So I want to get back to, again, encouraging all of you to really learn how to have fun for the sake of having fun. My whole theme this year, from Zen to Zany, Learning to Feed Your Soul for Optimal Health in 2016, is really all about how to teach people how to take care of themselves better, how to learn to relax and recreate, whether it's fun recreation or leisure kinds of recreation, so that basically you do restore yourself, because this human condition thing can be pretty difficult at times if we're not learning to play as much and as hard as we're learning to work. So we need to keep all those pieces and parts moving together so that we feed the soul, we help our human condition work with our soul in tandem is oftentimes the words that I use, that we have to work in tandem with our soul in order to not only evolve spiritually, but also keep our human side of us healthy. So tonight, as you're watching the Super Bowl, like I said, millions of people around the country and probably many outside of the country are going to be doing. Think about in the future how you can create fun for the sake of fun, as well as some of the competitive fun, which is basically in some ways community building and fun in and of itself. So in essence, that's how the soul works. We have to work in tandem with our soul so that we can pull it all together. So if you want more information for how to align with spirit for radiant living, you can go to my website, which is www.drcatherineTkelly.com. You can follow me on this blog that you're watching right now, or you can follow me on any of my other social networks that I have out there, which you will find on the left-hand column of my website. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you go out and have some fantastic fun today. Thanks so much.